welcome to my Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So this video is all about chicken pox.
Look, chicken pox.
Chicken pox. This is Ralph with chicken pox. He's still perfectly normal. But the things to look for, chicken pox start with red spots that can appear all over the body, which obviously you know. But I do feel Ralph got his slightly different. A lot of his little friends, when they got their spots, they turned really like red and angry like straight away. Where Ralph's appeared more like, I'd say like a gnat bite. So we was very unsure whether he had it or not to start with. I actually took him to the pharmacist just to sort of get them to check him, because I was like, do I send him to school, do I not? And initially the pharmacist actually said to Ralph it looked more like an allergy, but as soon as I told him that he had them on his arms and his legs, that is when the pharmacy said yes, it could very well be chicken pox. And obviously it was going around his school, so even if they don't look like chicken pox to start with, like they still could be, especially if they are all over the body. You'll know that it's chicken pox because one spot turns to lots of spots quite quickly, and with us, within 24 to 48 hours, the spots actually started to blister, and you can actually see like the little like fluid filled water blisters. These then burst, and that's when they start to scab over, but you'll always get one spot that's the worst. So Ralph's very first spot was on his leg. This is what you can see here when it first come up, but even now it is still the worst one. It's like the master spot. Children seem to be affected by chicken pox depending on how badly they've got it. Like Ralph has been quite lucky, although he's had a lot of chicken pox over his body, he hasn't really had any on his face, and he hasn't really been that ill with it. Where a couple of his little friends, they've had a couple of days in bed, they've had fevers, loss of appetite. That hasn't affected Ralph at all. The only thing I would say is just before his spots come out, I wouldn't say he's ill, but you know when your child is just not themselves. Ralph just was a little bit calmer. He wanted to sort of sit down with a blanket. He was a little bit more sleepy. So I could tell something wasn't quite right. But he's been okay in himself actually why he's had the chicken pox. In terms of treating the spots and helping the itching, I feel like we've tried so many things. Let's start with this. So this is a Urax cream, but it's meant to stop itching fast, and it works up to 10 hours. Okay, so this one is just a thick white cream. This one does take a little bit of rubbing in. It does sort of leave a white bit on your skin, but once it's rubbed in, it does work really well. The one good thing about this is it's not got that cooling feeling, so it doesn't feel that cold on the skin like other chicken pox treatment. Now, initially when he got his spots, I think this worked brilliantly. The only thing is once the blisters come out and they popped and you had sort of like broken skin, this really stings and it wasn't really working for us anymore. The other one we've been using is this one called ViraSoothe. A lot of Ralph's little friends that have had chicken pox recommended this one, but it has got that very sort of cooling feeling because it's a gel, and Ralph doesn't always like that on his skin, but it does help to relieve itching, it supports natural healing, it helps to reduce scarring as well, and you can use it from 6 months. This has worked really well though. It is like a clear gel that you put on the skin, so it does rub in very easy, it is very soothing, and it does work to soothe the itch. And the last one that we used is this one called Poxolin. Now, I actually went to the pharmacist and asked for the old school chamomile lotion, which is what I remember my mum using on me when I had chicken pox. And it was like a lotion that she put on a bit of cotton wool and then dabbed on my spots individually. He said, no, don't use that, you need to get this. So this has got a direct cooling and soothing effect. It's got instant itch relief, and it contains natural ingredients. So it comes in a bottle that looks like this, but unlike the others, this one is actually a mousse. And what is really good about this is you can rub it in your hands and then just rub it all over your child, so you haven't got to put it on like direct spots. You can literally just rub it all over them, which makes it a lot easier to apply. What we've really liked about this one is even when the skin has blistered and they've started to scab over, we've still been able to use this and it hasn't stung Ralph like some of the other treatment has. So this one is a bit of an all-rounder, and I think this one has probably been our best one so far. I have used one other thing, which is just good old-fashioned Vaseline. Now Ralph has had chicken pox in his private areas, and in general at night the itching is so much worse, and especially in that area when all he wants to do to go to sleep, and he's so irritated by it. And in that area I'm a bit sort of more conscious about what sort of creams we use, and to be honest, he just won't let me go near him with any of these creams. He's so worried it's going to sting. He doesn't want that sort of cooling or that cold feeling. Yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare, but he had let me put a little bit of Vaseline on. Obviously he's got eczema anyway, his skin's a bit dry, and I just thought, oh, maybe this will soothe him, and it really did help. So in those sort of sensitive areas, you might find that a bit of Vaseline is actually the way to go. Another thing you can do to help your children is just keep them in really comfy clothes. Ralph has pretty much lived in joggers and t-shirt this week, and at night we've actually only put him to bed in shorts and t-shirt a couple of times, just because I find if he gets too hot, that can make the itching worse. It's also recommended that you can bath your children in oatmeal. Apparently that's meant to be quite soothing for chicken pox as well, and I think Aveeno do a product that you can put in the bath. If your child has a fever or they're in pain with their chicken pox, then you can give them Calpol. Obviously this is liquid paracetamol, but it is recommended that you don't use Nurofen. It can cause serious skin infections. You can also give them Piriton, although our pharmacist recommended this instead. This is an alternative to Piriton, but it's non-drowsy, so I find that it works a lot better. So your children are infectious 2 days before their spots come out, so they're the most contagious before you even know that they've got chicken pox, and they're still contagious until they've had no new spots for 24 hours and all their spots have blistered and have scabbed over. This is normally about 5 days from getting the virus, but it can take a little bit longer in some children. So being contagious before you even know that they've got it is quite hard to then contain it, especially if you don't want siblings or their friends to catch it. So Ralph has got a little sister called Olivia, and there's every chance that she is going to get it now. And normally if they have caught it from anyone, it will normally take about 2 weeks before the spots on them will come out. So we're just waiting to see what happens. So that's it from us, and this one's chicken pox. But thank you for watching. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I do everything to do with mum life. Yeah, we can do some drawing, but we'll see you next time.